Hi, Michael.
Yeah.
We're here to discuss the February shipment report. Any significant figures from there?
The number came out last night. It was 139 million against 149, which was last Feb's figure.
Not much less.
So 6.3% decrease. Domestic was slightly down. Europe was about 20% down for Western and Central. China was up. That was quite strong. But overall about 6.3% down.
Okay, that's one of the interesting things there is domestic was down because that's been one of the compensators previous reports.
Yeah, that's been quite strong the last sort of year now.
Okay. All right. Okay. And 20% down in Europe, that seems quite significant. That might be also the Spanish stuff being used, or is this a bigger effect than that?
No, I think it's down. There's been a lot of hand-to-mouth buying. There's also been this port problem, which it was resolved a week or so ago.
But that wouldn't be.
It's going to sort of go on and on and on. So we're still, while these numbers are coming out, it's still a bit difficult to really say what the true. What the true issues are because of these port problems. So.
Okay. So it's still so much flux that it's hard to tell from these compartmentalized February, January, February, March figures what actually is happening. We're having to allow for that, basically.
We're having to allow for it because we're getting shipments that are rolled. So some of these Feb shipments were maybe bought as Jans, or maybe in December. So it's a bit.
The proof of the pudding is in the eating. So let's. How do you feel the market's reacted to this? We're in the next day anyway.
So January was 115, and that was down a heck of a lot. And so I think that actually they're quite happy with this number. Although it's down 6%, they're thinking,
what a recovery.
139, they were probably thinking it's going to be 120, maybe 125.
So it's going to encourage the growers to maintain higher prices, whilst after the low figures for January, there was a slight reduction in price.
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks, we saw maybe about a 10-cent decrease from where we were, which is sort of slightly slipping down. I think now they'll put the brakes on, and some are even putting their prices back up 5 cents. So we're sort of back to where we were 2 weeks ago.
Right. Okay. So all that's been lost, and prices still high. Okay. Well, I suppose the other factors. Are we pretty much through the bloom yet?
Yeah, we're through the bloom. The general consensus is that it was good, hunky-dory, went pretty well. The issues on the nonpareil though, some talk about that, and we have to really see though, it's still very early. So
I recall last year when we went in about June, there were some people who were adamant, and they may have well been right in retrospect, which is they were saying, well, we aren't going to have this huge bumper crop, which is 21 or whatever was forecast, because 2.1, because it's an off year for the nonpareil. Correspondingly, this year should be an on year for nonpareil, and if you reverse that argument, then there should be extra, at least potential almonds. So we're not hearing anything significant about the bloom, and therefore I think, just like last year, we have to presume it's a good bloom.
Yeah, it's gone well. It's still very early. I think an issue that's sort of going on, and it's still ongoing, is the water. And while that problem
that's
is
a big
still
one,
there, then there's always
swamps everything else out. So then we talk about the snowpack, which is basically the long-term sustain. I mean, of course, they're saying people won't get some of their allocations of water in some of the canals. But that was the case last year. We're really looking for relative differences with last year. And I think the one that they're going to point to, or they are pointing to, is the snowpack on the Sierra Nevada.
So that's sort of carries California through the summer.
Yeah, that's for the reserve, the battery of water. Yeah,
sort of natural reservoir, and they really haven't had the snows this year for that.
Okay, so problems will appear or may appear in July, August.
Yeah,
at the end of the crop. Okay, and I guess the other big factor from the demand side is the currency, which maybe has not impacted so much on these current set of figures that we're looking at. But really, we've seen just in the last week the euro go from 111 to 106, which is 5%, and so I would say just in March and maybe end Feb, we've lost a good 10%, which is of no benefit to the suppliers.
No. And it won't affect, obviously, domestic, because that's dollars and dollars, but this is a real issue in Europe, obviously. Yeah. And we've seen guys that are looking to buy today at the price 2 weeks ago, and they're thinking, well, hang on, the almonds they thought had come off.
Yeah, that's right. But they haven't. They've gone up. They've gone up 10 cents, is maybe a couple of percent.
So they're sort of going away, scratching their heads and thinking, well, what do I do now?
Yeah, at the end of the day, the sale will be in euros, and we have that product we have that problem right across all our products. Europe is a big consumer. It's a steady consumer as well. It's a mature market. And all these guys, the packers, etc., to some extent, will be short of dollars. And therefore I think we're going to have some troubled times, because a supply chain where people are losing money, regardless who that is, whether it's a grower or a packer. Well, the supermarkets won't lose money, but they will delist. Is a supply chain in trouble? The chain is a chain. It's strong as its weakest link. So, I think we'll see some problems, and I think people should expect maybe sharply reduced demand, and we have to work with that.
Yeah, there's going to be more hand-to-mouth buying.
Yes, that's right. Much less certainty, because people buy smaller quantities. They cover, if they're on the wrong side of the deal, they will buy the absolute minimum. And that's actually what's crucified them over the last 8 months or so with this particular product. So
it's just more uncertainty, and that will continue, at least in the short term. I don't think there's any good news really coming out about the euro. I think it's predicted to be on par by the end of the year, but probably could be sooner.
On the currency side, it's like, we've come from dollar terms from about 139, I think was the peak, and the last fall is now you're getting to the state where, of course, it's certainly looking like it's going to go to parity, and if it goes to parity, I mean, what is the next stop? So I don't know. Okay, that's it, I think.
Okay.
All right, thanks very much.